Oakland has turned into the Indians from the movie Major League. If you haven't seen Major League, you should probably go check it out. Paul Skeens is trash now. Can't even say that seriously. Mariners have won every single series since April 15th. Luis Arraez is now on the Padre, and Wyatt Langford is out after making history, literally. Where do we start? I don't know. Welcome everybody to Touching Bases Podcast. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you're not, welcome back. It's good to see your smiling faces. We are in a new hotel. Just like I said, on the road. Going to be out for pretty much all of May until June, so bear with me. But let's get to the stuff to why you clicked on this. Skeen served up his second slowest fastball of the season at 97.9 miles an hour. That's the slowest he's ever pitched. And a guy named Robertson sent a 421-foot home run over the wall and in center field for the sixth home run of the year. Now, this brings that perfect pro ERA of 0.00 to 0.99. At this point, the Pirates can bring him up and still have him for an extra year, but my guess is that they're going to wait until next season or at least the last 2 weeks of this season if there is a playoff push. Speaking of rookies, Wyatt Langford is out after a swinging bunt to third base as he was running into first base. He pulled a hamstring from what it seems. They haven't given an official note of how long he's going to be out, but he hit his very first home run in the major leagues, which happened to be also an inside the Parker. But something else to pay attention to with Wyatt Langford out at this point for God knows how long, and Holiday has been sent down to AAA, and Jonathan Clase was moved back down to the AAA as well. This only leaves like Evan Carter and Colton Cowser for Rookie of the Year contention. I mean, at least for the month of May. Anything can change, but Carter's been starting out in the outfield for Texas almost every single game with a few exceptions, and then Carter being the starting outfielder for Texas, he's obviously going to have the upper hand at this point as far as earning his spot as Rookie of the Year this year in 2024. Why do I say that? It's because Kjerstad was called up in replacement of Jackson Holiday, who's also an outfielder, and he's been taking some days to show himself in the MLB, which happens to be Colton Cowser's spot. In return, because of that, Colton Cowser seemed to have cooled off his bat the last few games. Will he heat it back up? I'm not exactly sure, but he had a really good run for the month of April. Mariners. My Mariners. Boy, am I happy that they found 50% of their bats, and I'm saying 50% of their bats because most of the team is still batting under 200 with runners in scoring position, and they are finding ways to get this amazing pitching some wins. And when I say some wins, I mean just breathing room so that they can work and not be so stressed out all the time. Most games are still closer than what we want, but I mean, I'll take the wins no matter what. Cal Raleigh has been clutch, and Dylan Moore has really kind of woken up. His batting average doesn't exactly show it, but during clutch situations, he seems to come through. The game against Houston just recently gave him the edge, which took the series. But on the other hand, Julio is still cold. Haniger seemed to take a dip in his bat. France is still getting on base, but he's never doing it with runners in scoring position. I think it's like a 158 RISP, something like that. They roll into Minnesota this week, and in fact today I think they're playing right now as I record this, so we will find out exactly how they did. But if they can keep this hot streak up and win another series, this is really good for the Mariners as they're barely hanging on for first place. And keep in mind also that with Byron Buxton and Royce Lewis still out, there may be a chance that the Mariners can pull it off. Carlos Correa is back, but he's swinging the bat, but I mean, again, I don't know if he's going to be able to carry him through there. So maybe they can come away with another series win. But let's also keep in mind, I'm not blinded by the Mariners fans that can't seem to read stats. Emerson Hancock is basically the Achilles heel of this rotation with a 4.75 ERA and then a 4.95 FIP and batters hitting over 250 against him. I'm really hoping Brian Wu can come back because it's just not sustainable in my opinion. I'm not a huge fan of Hancock at this point. Luis Arraez is now a Padre. That's pretty cool. I didn't see that coming. I mean, talk about a Tony Gwynn or Ichiro of San Diego. It's a pretty impressive move. And I kind of love it because yes, the Padres lost some pitching and some prospects, but they did get cash in return. And then they're also, after like losing Soto, they went the batting average route. Instead of power, they went hits. They went on base percentage. They went consistency. Soto was a gem, and he was amazing for their team. Obviously, he was just going to cost them way too much money at the end of next year. With Arraez debuting after leaving a 9-27 record Marlins, Jesus, that's so much. To go 4-for-6 as leadoff in 11-1 victory of the D-backs, it's a pretty big statement, and it made headlines across the league. Obviously, he's very happy, I think, with where he's at. He has a chance to make the playoffs now. And the Marlins, there was no chance at all. And the team just wasn't performing, and they still aren't. They're the third worst team in baseball, just ahead of the Rockies and the White Sox. Yeah, the D-backs are, having a rough time, and we're not really going to dig into it too much. But Luis' career numbers are 325 batting average with an 802 OPS and a 15.3 WAR. 2 batting titles in 2 different leagues the last 2 years. Sunday, he may have gone 1 for 5, but the whole game was swapped, and the D-backs bats woke up all of a sudden and put up 11 runs on the board. I don't get baseball sometimes. Lastly, Oakland, the A's. If you can even call them the Oakland A's anymore. Have you ever watched Major League with Charlie Sheen? I mean, as far as like the crowd sales hitting rock bottom, the owners wanting to relocate the team, so they give zero incentive to win at all and compile this terrible roster with a bunch of no-names. And instead, they find a dominant pitcher who throws over 100 miles an hour. Team overachieves and just recently won a game with 20 runs on the board and 2 home runs in the same game. Thank you, Brent Rooker. And now, magically, it seems like crowds are kind of returning. I think this is a good send-off for them. I know it's official and that, the A's won't be back in Oakland. It's already been decided, sadly, and to see them performing well, I think this is a good thing. I think this is a good send-off for the team. I wouldn't be mad if they made the playoffs this year. Hopefully this entire team decides to leave after this season. Like, I would love to see them come together, go to the playoffs, really have an amazing run, a good send-off for the city of Oakland, and then show up to Sacramento and the entire team opts out and they can't get anybody because honestly, Fisher basically is doing this for profits for himself. He's screwing fans over. He's screwing the team over with their budget. And, I mean, it would just be a beautiful thing to see the A's rep Oakland one last time and go out with a bang. So that's all I have for you guys today. If you guys liked the video, go ahead and like, subscribe, leave a comment on your thoughts on each topic. And if you think I'm stupid or whatever you want to put, go ahead and put it down there. I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.